Welcome back to Investing and Trading Live, sponsored by Online Trading Academy. On the last segment, we're talking about what to do with your cash. Cash is trash unless you invest it in the right places. And we covered some different techniques or opportunities that we have as individuals to do things differently with our monies. And I'm going to bring Al on the show here. He's going to discuss some other things as well. But we had a lot of people texting in for that investing class and calling in. Congratulations to those of you that did that. If you missed part of that, to get into this investing class, simply just text the word investing to the number 210 for 2 seats, or simply just call 952-814-4410. That's 952-814-4410. And Al, welcome to the show here. My co-host, Al Connickson. How you doing today, Al?
Doing well, Josh. How about you?
I'm doing really good. I know you have a lot to discuss here. You have some different insights on the reports that happened this week. We had PPI, we had CPI. That was, I believe, on Thursday. On the last segment, I was talking a little bit about what's happening in the news. The news is talking about something different every single day. Market's going up. Things are great. This market is resilient. The next day, market is down. We're going into a recession. It's the end of the stock market. Now, with a lot of these reports that are coming out, a lot of it is news, but we can apply these reports not as a trading strategy, but hopefully getting to our entry points and our exit points just a little bit quicker. So I want you to discuss real quick here your insight on the market, what's been happening this past week. It was a great market, especially Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And we know what happened on Friday, but we had Thursday CPI. What's your insight? What's your take on how great these markets have been?
Well, yeah, the markets are always great, Josh. It doesn't make any difference really what's happening, whether we have good economic news, bad economic news. There's always opportunities. It's just that people only know how to take opportunities when it's going one direction. And that's a huge mistake. And that's one of the things that we really concentrate on with our students at the Online Trading Academy is how to benefit in all directions, up markets, down markets, sideways markets. But you kind of hit on it when you were talking about all the differences out there. We're seeing people that are well experienced and well educated in the financial markets with totally different opinions. We see some people saying this is the start of another major bull market. We see other people saying we're going to go into recession, and the signs are there for recession.
In the same day.
Which they are. Right. But these are people's opinions. And unfortunately, a lot of people make a decision to go one direction or another based on all this information out there. And what we're finding is that within a week, sometimes within the same day, or certainly within a month, we go all the different directions, especially the up and the down directions. And what people are missing out on is the opportunity to generate income. You talk about what to do with your cash. I think it was maybe last show or the one before, I said that you cannot get wealthy by not investing your cash.
Yes,
You cannot put
correct.
it into a money market or a savings account and expect to do well. It has become kind of a place for safety now by the public. We're getting better returns in the money markets and in some of the fixed income, but that has not been the case for a while.
Let's touch that for a second. People feel safe with something that's considered safe. So then what happens is they become complacent. And that's
People,
why
they do become complacent, and one of the reasons it's so easy to become complacent when you're talking about the financial markets is that if things are not going well for you, if you're not where you want to be financially, you have to make a decision to do something different if you want your life to be different financially.
Exactly.
That means taking putting some effort into it, doing some work. And unfortunately, people have bought into a strategy that I'm just going to call it a lazy man strategy. That's a buy and hold strategy. It doesn't require much intelligence, skill, or any activity on your part just to put a portfolio together and just let it ride for 10 or 20 or 30 years and then think you're going to get rich with that. It is not the case. Then that's why we have such especially a retirement crisis these days. But, a lot of people will get their information from the news, the internet. I mean, YouTube. We see all sorts of people coming in here saying, for the people that have traded, most of our students haven't done anything yet, but the ones that have traded, That's where they got their information from YouTube or from a friend or a trusted uh, neighbor or somebody who says, "Hey, this is the way you got to do this."
Yeah.
And what we're finding is those people are losing money. They're not doing well. And here's the bottom line, really, Josh, is this: that one of the smartest ways to succeed in anything that you do is to follow and emulate the people that are already successful.
Mhm.
You learn how to eliminate mistakes because they know what not to do and they know what to do. They're not making their decisions based on those opinions. Um, Even people that think Wall Street would only give them good advice, or business schools, for example. If you take classes maybe at a tech school or a business school, uh, and you think that you're getting the right advice, what we're finding is that basically that advice is just showing you how to be average, how to be mediocre. And one of the top money managers in the world is Stanley Druckenmiller, and he managed money actually for George Soros for a while. But he said this. He said that a business school teaches what's average, but no extraordinary success can be achieved by following the average. Rather, a retail investor may be better off learning from actual players in finance who have achieved what the investor aspires to do. What do? How do we teach? We have people that are professionals that trade these markets, that live these markets,
Mhm.
and that's who you want to learn from. Learn from people that have already demonstrated their success and have demonstrated that they have enough knowledge to make sure that when you are going to take this on, if you're going to become a trader or investor, even if you're just taking control of a little bit of your money or you just want to know more about what's going on in these markets, learn from people that have achieved success that are willing to pass that on to you.
Yeah, and these professional instructors that Al are talking about, it's the being able to teach it is phenomenal because it's a subject that people don't understand, but you have to kind of pull back the curtain a little bit, and then what happens is people have to not change, but maybe question their belief system. And you were mentioning the lazy man strategy, and also it you were alluding to Wall Street putting people in what you were saying basically is Wall Street doesn't put people in strategies, or money managers don't put people in strategies that's for their best interest. And it's kind of like this example. It's playoff baseball season. Unfortunately, our Twins are done.
Hmm.
Our hometown Twins are done, unfortunately. But they played a hard, tough game. But it's kind of a funny story that I'm telling this story with that they just played the Houston Astros. But it's kind of like a money manager or a Wall Street professional is not going to tell their clients to do what they're doing because they need people on the other side of their trade and stuff like
Hmm.
that. And there's reasons behind that. We uncover that, unpack a lot of that in these investing classes. But it's almost like what they do for the public, they're not going to, like, a pitcher isn't going to say, here comes a fastball, here comes a curveball, and here comes a slider. They're not going to tell what pitch is coming to their clients. And that's why us as retail investors, we need to understand that first off, but then we need to take matters in our own hands and understand what those strategies are that they're doing and essentially do those strategies. And these strategies, it's not just for the Wall Street professionals. It's for anybody because these are available to anybody. And what we want to identify is where are they buying, where are they selling. It's supply and demand at its finest. And that's an economic law of supply and demand. That's kind of like gravity. We'll talk about that later. But that's how we trade and invest. It's like the institutions, like the money managers. So that way we can be on the right side of the trade, not the wrong side of the trade. And we have investing classes that we talk about a lot on the show here that we've been having a lot of people, especially this summer. And this fall, it's been picking up as well, too. I think maybe because school is in and people have more time on their hands. But these investing classes are 2 hours long. And I want to give away some seats to just by simply just texting the word investing to the number 210-210. And that's for 2 seats for an investing class locally here in Bloomington. And these are classes where we've taught thousands, just like you, are many strategies which are designed to teach you to make smarter investing decisions. So simply, you can also call 952-814-4410. That's 952 814-4410. So, Al, with the news that happened this past week, CPI and PPI, do you have any update on that?
Absolutely, yeah. Both CPI and PPI, the CPI is a consumer price index and PPI is a producer price index. PPI is really an indication of what's happening in the wholesale world. That was up. It was up 0.5%, and the estimate was up 0.3%. Year over year, it was up 2.2%, which is the largest move since April. The CPI,
You're talking about the PPI?
the PPI, that
Yep.
was the PPI. CPI was up 0.4%, and the estimate was up for an increase of 0.3%. Year over year, that's up 3.7%. Estimate was 3.6%. The bottom line here, folks, is that inflation still is not under control. The Fed has a way to go. What does that mean? Well, it means probably at the very least they're going to have to keep rates higher longer. Whether they're going to have to increase rates again remains to be seen. But here is the bottom line is, as I said earlier, this market is going to have big up moves and big down moves. And whatever is happening in the news seems to hit on the emotional component of the retail trader causing these big moves up and down. But here's the what you really need to know in this kind of a market is to be prepared for either direction because it's going to go both directions. And if you're missing out on both on the opportunity to benefit both ways, up and down, you're missing out on maybe half of the opportunities for you to generate income or create wealth. You know, what I found, Josh, is that I was thinking about this the other day, that we go through basically 3 stages in life. Okay, and these are kind of activity stages. When you're younger, you spend most of your time going to graduation parties.
Sure.
You get a little bit older, then you spend your time going to weddings. When you get a little bit older, and unfortunately, this has been happening to me, I'm spending my time going to funerals. And think about that from an investment standpoint, too. You don't want to reach that funeral stage and realize, you know, that's because sometimes that's when reality hits and you go, you know what, I don't know that I have enough money to make it through, or maybe, maybe something could happen to me and my spouse is going to be left alone to, kind of fight the financial situation. So here's the thing. When you're in that first stage, when you're going to graduation parties, that's the time you should be starting to put things together. That's a great way or a great time to learn because you have the mental capacity to learn easier. But then when you're in the wedding stage, I'm going to say that maybe you have to bleep me on this or not, but if you're in the wedding stage and you haven't put together a good investment plan, somebody needs to kick you in the ass and get you moving, because that's the time that you want to not let yourself become complacent and think, well, I can always work on this later or get at it later. For a lot of people, later doesn't come, or later comes too late for you to be able to do anything. You need to take control now. Take that first step. It's not hard. Everything you know now is something you didn't know at one point in time. If you don't know that much about the financial markets, we're here to turn that around. We teach you how they function and how they function in a way that you have the opportunity to benefit from them. And we're teaching you that, or the source of that education are these professional traders that I'm talking about. That's who you want to learn from.
Yeah, and if you're in that stage right now where you've just been kicked in the butt, as Al has been talking about, come into one of these investing classes and learn how to do it the right way from our professional instructors. I mean, come into these to see how the market works, how to make smart investing decisions, but to do that safely and also confidently. You can simply just text the word investing to the number 210-210 to get started and get that jump start on your finances. Text investing to the number 210-210, or just go to our website. You can go to otamin.com. That's otaminn.com. Al, we have a lot more to discuss. I want to talk about, you just kind of brought something to my attention, the stages of your life. And in the next segment, let's talk a little bit about those stages in your income and wealth years. You have your income years, which would be your building, and then you have your wealth years, which is your living years.
Right.
So let's talk about strategies designed to have the best opportunity to do both. So up next, we'll talk about that. Make sure to subscribe and smash that like button on the podcast if you're listening to the podcast, Investing and Trading Live, wherever you listen to podcasts, but also for our radio listeners, we do appreciate the listening. This is Josh and Al, Investing and Trading Live. We will be right back.